Where I get this number, I'm at +4.
Alright, so, today we're streaming Satisfactory. You might have noticed. You might have noticed, that I haven't been streaming recently. Also, I'm already getting bots telling me to check out bot stuff, so that's back to form. Either way, I've been missing streaming, because how do I say this? I had a timer that I was using to actively speaking. Well, my phone. I was using my phone's timer feature, like the timer app, to tell me when to stream. But I kept on like falling asleep 30 minutes before stream. As in, like, I slept beforehand, but like there's a period where I'm effectively waiting for like things to be cleared up, and during that period, I fall asleep. Because I can't do much during that period to actively speaking ease things up. And you can see the bot. So since I can't do much, I just fell asleep during it because I was effectively in ambient mode. And because I fell asleep 30 minutes before the alarm couldn't do anything. And I kept on getting woken up instead of by the alarm that I'd set to actively speaking wake me up to do the stream. The thing to stop the stream was waking me up. So that was a whole stinking mess. Also, apparently, I misconfigured again. I still don't know how to configure my Kick account stuff, but that's not something I'm going to focus in on right now. And let's see the state of the inventory. Expectable. I expected to, actively speaking, be able to clean up this protein situation, and the exact same situation happened. I set an alarm, a timer to, actively speaking, go back on and, like, do the stinking background crap, this crap included. Same thing happened. So, yeah, I've not been having the best interaction with my clock recently, my timer. Oh, that's cool. Let's check out what Man's got for us. Get here at iron plates. This is something that I could do inside of my structure in order to, like, avoid needing to transfer it over to plastic production. I don't know, though. Copper rotors. I don't have interest in copper rotors. And I definitely don't have interest in wet concrete. At least not right now. I don't really see a reason to be. So, I know it's considered taboo to um, our drive 6. I think I can scan a few. Yeah, it should be nice if I could just take out one. I feel like there's a button for it. I don't actually know, though. Alright. I also need to set up the actual breakdown for these so that I don't have to continuously do this. I could just dump them all into one sector and have them slooped and everything. Which I don't really need them slooped. I tend to, actively speaking, work through it very well. I do not lack a supply of protein. The reason why I'd be slooped is so that I'd get more, like, coupons out of it, basically. Which, I mean, there's an argument for. That's beside the point. I need to make a breakdown structure for that. But I also need to set up my other stuff, so... Speaking of protein... Can empty that. Stick it Right over there. Sort. Although I could use with... I think that actually the cheapest recipe is the nutrient inhaler. This one's expensive for it. Yeah. I'll take things the farthest. Other than that, hope you guys have a nice, enjoyable time watching the stream. I don't think anyone's watching live, but I don't really mind that. Don't have a reason to. Alright. That's it. That's about the distance we can take things. So, yeah. That's where that goes. And that is not many. Oh well. Other than that, I might be able to buy some things at this point. Let's do that to start things off so that I have at least one unlock. Other than that, though, I guess also the other thing that does is if we, actively speaking, convert the existing power generation factory into prime. I don't know. I'd have to do the math on it. That's a lot of math to do. Coupons, please. So I think I can afford some things. Not anything too special, but like I could afford to fix a check mark. That's nice. I could afford the pretty good Pioneer. The Satisfactory Pioneer is still out of space or out of reach. Silver Hug is another thing I can't really do right now. But going to customizations, I could afford some of these. I'm gonna probably do that later. And as far as walls go, foundations, architecture, I mean, this is pretty decent, but there's also this industrial railing. I don't know about most of it. Most of it doesn't seem all that good. So I'm probably just gonna go with the age-old common and simple. Let's go. That, that, that. A lot cost me. I can afford it. Maybe one thing from architecture. I do like these. Structural pack. Round concrete beam. Now that is something. I think that, yeah, there's the quarter thingamabobs. And those, which are nice too. And the half. The halves might be useful. I'm just gonna add those of them. 44. Anything else? Walls-wise? No, not really. Oh, that'd be pretty evenly 50. I don't really want to burn through everything I've got. Well, tiled walls might be useful, but I'm not going to go there. Alright, so that's that was. This over here has been transferred over to quick connectors, so that means that it should be producing as many quick connectors as it can, which it's not really doing all that many, but whatever. Now then, I check recipes, parts, circuit board. Oh, that produces more. Okay, then there's no reason to do that any other way, because these both don't need liquid of any kind. You can add liquid to actively make them more efficient, don't get me wrong, but that's beside the point. Like, so anything else? I don't think pressure freezers are used in anything. I don't think so. Well, plastic. I can just check plastic-wise. That was not how you look up plastic. Okay. So they're used in computers, in codecs, and I don't have any alternatives, but that is as it is. Other than that, I don't think there's anything else that I'd be using it for right now. Eventually 3D printers. Oh, I could use it for AI limiters. That's nice. And plastic smart pudding, which would probably be smart. But I'm not going to deal with that right now. Let's get it going. So back to the steel factory after I look at my resources and realize that I can just sink a bunch of stators. Though I, technically speaking, could dump those stators into the actual storage that I already have. I don't really see an extensively good reason to do so. So, I need to actually look at the space that I've got. So, I need to do a bunch of foundries today. I could try and, actively speaking, dodge the workload again by going off to explore the world around me. This section right here probably has plenty of little doodads and such. But... oh, that's nice. That's a bunch of garbage. Is that a pure copper node? No, that's a pure iron node. That's another pure iron node. That's a pure deuterium node. That's a bunch of nodes. Okay. Not bad, not bad, not bad. The desert, though, is going to be where we start getting some serious stuff. That was me having my hand in the wrong place. Alright. I probably needed to get more concrete. Oops. Is what I would say. Ah, it comes out of. So, this will be probably good space for storage of... yeah, whatever. I'm planning on mainly prioritizing storage over here. So logistics back and forthing. Okay, I can do another hard drive. Let me take out my hard drives. So glad that I took those out. Speaking of... I just sealed off the sec. Oh, I didn't, but whatever. It doesn't really matter. So that's stators. I can just look outside of them. This should be... ah! That's perfectly normal. Not concerning whatsoever. Stop freaking out. Okay, so if I recall correctly, there should be a nice little instance of these things right here. Thankfully. My stuff. Slightly. Well, the pipes aren't really going to be all that useful for right now because they're not really used in construction all too consistently. Other than that, hard drive, please. There we go. Alright. We have fine black powder and distilled packaged fuel. I mean, that's a good way of handling that, I guess. If I was going to use anything like that, but I don't have any intention of doing that. And I can have rubber concrete. Sounds like time to scan another hard drive. Sounds like pain. Well, actually, I'm just going to keep these out. I don't think I'm going to be done quite yet. Okay, other than that, I'm going to take the concrete out because I have a spot for that, ignoring everything else. And then I'm going to stick in these just in case I need them. I don't probably need them, but in case I need them. See, this is where foresight would have been a really good tool. And I don't mean foresight as in the ability to see, like, in the future. I mean just, like, thinking about the future. If I had thought about the future, I could have tried to sync up the logistics floors so that this logistics floor would match that thing's logistics floor. Even by raising it by 1, it would have solved that problem. Having this floor be up there, because this is a logistics floor. But I mean, I think this is a yeah, this should be a logistics floor. Although maybe I did it differently. Maybe this is a logistics floor. I don't think this is a logistics floor. This is big for a logistics floor. Maybe I'll need it. But you know, I should really like color code these using the material applications. I should be smarter, is what I'm saying. Yeah, so this for some reason would be yeah, this is a logistics floor. This is an operations floor with a nice little sky view up here. This is a logistics segment on a production floor. This is a logistics floor that's 3 walls high. This is a production floor that is 2 walls high. Because somebody didn't synchronize their construction applications to where this would make sense. That somebody being me. Although technically speaking, I could use the fact that this is the decompression belt and just link it out up here. Since I don't think I'm even going to be able to use this amount here on this one belt. Yeah. Again, that's on a logistics floor. Anyway, that's beside the point. I need to handle my stuff better. Which is not beside the point. So this here. How do I handle it? Well, functionally speaking, I need to cut one line into 4 outputs. Now then, this is where having actual knowledge on individual like individual speeds and such Is it no? Yes, it's no. So 60 resources per minute does not split into 4 nicely. This does, but it doesn't split into 8 nicely. We need to split into 8. So that's something. 270 probably doesn't split into 8 nicely. Let's do this. 270 divided by 8. Yeah, it's not an even number. Oh, that's 15. And I think that each one of these takes 20 per minute? 40 per minute. Heck, you're snipers. Mega Dog, you're going to end up getting yourself killed. Come this way. I can see that your ability to figure out where you're going is pseudo-limited. Okay. There we go. Stay in there. Stay. Good boy. So, when it comes down to this all... Well, I mean, let's go down the road with this. I think it's 480. No, that's wrong. So that's 270. This 480. That probably divides pretty evenly into 8, but just in case, 4. 480 into 8, 60. It'll do. The problem is, watts. Not really where that belongs. I don't know if this is a good idea. If I did 2 more, just this way. $480, $40. So if I divide the belts between 3, 160. 160 each. That's within the space of a Mark III belt. That can, actively speaking, allow me to handle 1 of these. Although... I would have to make the belts twice. Okay. So, I'm going to just start off a swinging. Where is it? Where is me logistics? And the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remember that there is an order to things. And in order to maximize utility, remembering that order is a lot more likely to bring you success. So, if I divide it into 3, and then just have each one of these lines work off of one of those, it's more messy, but it should actually allow for an even division. Meaning that we need to start that process at this point, not at a later juncture. So... fine. I am more than willing to have my brain simplified for like a few minutes. Don't like. That could be useful. That is a smart idea, but I'm not smart. Or I'm not the smartest right now. Well, actually, technically, I could real quick upgrade my capacity, which would be a wise idea right now. There's also Caterium, which is a sun application. If I did this, though, this would probably be a wise decision right now. Because... let me just see what it takes. We got this. Oscillators, a hundo of them. Pretty sure it's not going to take a hundo of them, but whatever. Select, research.
Priority merger unlocked. Useful for prioritizing between inputs to avoid eventual stoppage. If you have an issue with stoppage somewhere else, consult a physician instead.
So that didn't really help with priority splitting, though. And it does take an oscillator each time. It might be something worth my time, but I'm not really... maybe as a Caterium thing with the programmable splitter. I don't have interest in that. This, though, might be good later, but right now it's not. I mean, it's a thing. Yeah, I don't see anything else that I'd really just do right now. And this is something that I could use right now. This is something I could use right now. This is something I could use right now. But I don't have automation on any of that. This is something I definitely could use right now. But... is this the space? That's the expansion. That's the upload rate. That's... do not do this line. Do this line. I did both lines because I'm impatient. Okay. But right now it's not the time to upgrade either. And why do I have this in my inventory? What do I do with myself when I'm just thinking silly? Okay, so how do I want to handle this? Got iron in my system. I don't like that. Oh wait, iron. No. Yeah, I'm just gonna sink it. So, other than that, if I split this and it's genuinely speaking just a straight up split, and I just do straight 3 ways, then I have everything I need set up. But I need to figure out a good way to get that kind of distance out of it. Also, I need to remember my information. I'm only moving 160. Speed isn't important right now. Okay. Lastly, this can definitely be an even split. But how am I gonna do it? If I base it off this space here. So this is a conveyor splitter. That's splitting once. Split twice. Splitting twice. So that should be... Yep, green is the paths. That's what we need. Great, now I just need to do that again. And then all I need to do is... figure out what I'm doing. Alright, so... That should be a pretty straightforward 1-to-1. That is one line to 4. And the start of the pane. Okay, so each one of these is only moving 40. That means that I only need a mark 1. I'm not even gonna think about it. You know, I said I wasn't gonna think about it. Maybe that was not the wisest of decisions. Not thinking about it. Because very clearly there I didn't think about it, and that didn't magically save me from having to do the work. Hot take. Anyway. Where is my tooth fairy? Why did I have to think about that? Oh, good gravy. Oh no. Let's hope that's connected. Also, always match. It doesn't like it when you don't match. I'm guessing that the thing that is considered front is based off of the rotation of the individual ports, which are really hard to distinct and judge because they're symmetrical. Either way, I'm hoping that each one of these are fully connected, but it is hard to tell. Our logistics-wise is probably not the problem. I do not foresee complications with the power. Logisticsing. Placement or operation therein. But that's beside the point. Although I could add a catwalk. That would probably make traversal a little bit more simple. Either way, down here you can walk around pretty well. There are some obstacles that is going to be a thing on occasion, unfortunately. But other than the occasional delay, it should be a fully functionable system. Straight. Why does it hate me? Is this something that I like? Yes. Should I be dumping crap into my stuff? Yet. No. Am I anyway? Apparently. Either way, it'll actually tell me whether or not I'm stupid and forgot how the things work. Why are the conveyor holes like this? Why do I have to play this guessing game? I'm so flipping done. You know, if I need conveyor holes to go through the flipping foundations, can you, actively speaking, like, have them auto-placed? will this work? Yes. Well, why can't I line these up? Why is this a game of, like, precision? Like, I like precision within a certain space, but this is getting very tedious very quickly. Alright. Let's get this all nice and finished. All too quickly. Alright. Well, at least these can snap. Also, it seems like micro... No. That's wrong. Anyway, these are conveyor lifts Mark 1, right? So glad that I did that. Either way. That should hopefully have that all handled. That should be all nice and done. And I should have plenty of... this kind of belt in case I need it. Just in my inventory, ready to come anything that is required. Speaking of, let's just do that. Why? Why does that function? When the other did not. I don't. I'm gonna let it be for now. I can't fix it. And I'm not gonna pretend to understand it enough to even try. So I'm just going to go ahead and be practical about this and say other priorities take just that. Priority. Oh, actually, it might be wiser for me to... Yeah. That way you can walk under it a lot longer. Other than that, I'm definitely going to sit down and take this as a nice little opportunity to ensure that the next phase will function. Right. That's probably a far better way of handling it. I don't know why I didn't just do that before. There we go. Nice and simple, goes down, gets the problem solved. In this space here, it's not as viable. But you can still make it viable. But that seems like a pretty sufficiently handled logistics system. I just need to do that 3 more times. Preferably with less headaches. Before, though, I do that, I think... I could do 2 things to make my life a lot easier. The first thing is that I could just... use that to try and get... There. Now. There. Is that doing decently? No, not really, but it's doing sufficiently. Still, raising it up so high is silly, so I guess I just got us thinking. Admit I'm wrong. Be at least a little bit mature about the situation. So, other than that, do I have anything else that I need to do real quick? I don't think so. These lines I could even thinking like merge. So this all is going to be very slow, but this is going to be quite quick. In fact, it's probably got more steel on it than I want right now. Because I don't want any steel on this right now. This is going literally nowhere. I haven't even gotten the production line up on the products. Although I don't have much use for steel, so it is some application. What would I use this for, though? Oh, and I forgot to check. This produces 60 per minute. That would have been probably wise to check before I summed it onto a single line. 60 times 4. 240. 40. Yeah, okay. This'll work. We are taking a third of a line and producing a line. That's good. Okay, so now we have that all settled. Time to remember what I was doing a second ago. Gonna be honest. Probably don't want this to continue going on in the background. And still want it to be able to, actively speaking, like, be powered so I can check that stuff. Though, to be fair, I could just, Mark 4 belts, take it out, stick it above. And then, like an absolute monster, just think it all until I'm ready. Yeah. And that should, actively speaking, allow me to have clean lines. Though I do wish that I, actively speaking, no. Point of power loading is to, actively speaking, have everything set up from get-go. This is just gonna cause complications later if I'm not careful. The only thing this will cause is pain and heartache. Speaking of, before I accidentally throw away a hard drive, which I'm guessing is going to happen if I'm not careful. Do that. And there's no new hard drives because I'm silly and didn't do anything about that. You're very cute. Ouch. So with that noted and these all empty, time to get to work on the next part. Making sure this works, because Doesn't look like it does. Well, actually, why am I doing that? Next part. Being sure it does work. With fighting the world grid. Alright. So... definitely want to give it a little bit of space. But not too much. There we go. I do wish I could just point at an output. No, do not want to do that. Yes, I want to do this. This will make certain things harder. But given I build it correctly, everything should be nice and connected now, and we should be able to transfer this to that. Okay, it takes a stinking, like, step. I don't mind that. Its disdain for straight conveyors retains. Oh, unfortunately. Do I like? No. There we go. That should work a little bit better. So, again, this is probably a wiser decision. See what we're going with. So everything seems fully functional. Everything seems bueno. Nah, I could have 50% of it, but this is already a place where there is going to be a lot of space strain. Although I could. But then I gotta split it in half again. Either way. Yeah, I'd say that's a sufficient test. I'd also say that's a little bit more than 45 inside of some of these things. Alright, other than that, just gonna take this and plug her in. It's gonna be default it's gonna be default in a decompression state for a long time, so I can just run, even if I didn't have power going towards my iron production and my coal production. And to be clear, this is 2/3 of a single, like, full power line. So I can sync this for a little bit and actively speak and get some more coupons out of it. That way it's a little bit less of a waste to just have that on. But I still need to, actively speaking, hook this back up to this line, so then I can run it up to actual construction points. Other than that, I can also use the space for making copper. Still, I've got iron production back up to a scale. Not maximum scale whatsoever. That's beside the point. So as far as that goes, other than that, I'm going to go ahead and say... Oh. Why do they have it clipped like that? Like what? They expect you to, like... What is the idea here? Why would I put that in the middle of a foundation? Like, I'm not extensively, like... I kind of like certain aspects of the thing, but it is a little bit odd. So open mode, automatic mode. Okay. So you can't have it always closed because it doesn't really have an ability to always be closed. Okay, so I need to produce another line of these. I need to give it enough distance to where it can actually get some stuff done. Meaning that I need to have enough space for me to be able to pull into these, but at the closing end of it, I tend to boomerang these, meaning that the actual logistics are, or the cutting up of the actual conveyor is done down below the actual production factories. So that tends to solve that. Main complication is, why does the foundry hate being... Like, why? If I just, like, pause this, lock the hologram, and just look at the actual hitbox here. Why did they do this? The whole point of the snapping system is to help sort this stuff out so that you can actively hook up other stuff, but it doesn't snap cleanly to the actual foundations. can tell snap line. I can tell. I can tell very clearly. I could have like pulled out of that guy. Either way though, so I probably could have closed the distance here. I could also be producing brain stuff right now, but that's beside the point. That's not the point right now. I have business. Okay. Given that I have basic steel up and running, how do I want to actually handle? I don't. This is neither the place or the place to handle that concept, so I need to go to the place to handle that concept. That would be this floor. Just off. Gate hole, automated gate. Whatever, I'll take it. So when you're talking about all that, this is kind of where the problem comes in. Not this. This is going to be destroyed. But how do I want to handle the logistics down here for up there? I don't really care about speed of production, but being able to supply the actual beams and pipes for the future, I feel like is a good idea to just scale up. Because if I don't just scale it up manually, then I have to deal with a whole lot of hoopla. Okay, so if I do 6 more of these, I'm maxing out what is usually going to be required. But why? 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 Okay. I have to get used to doing that. Hello, baby. So... Come here. Vertical splitters? Sorry. Mega Dog? Come here. Come here. Let's go see what's on the man. Let's go see what's on the man. Can you not see me through the stairs? There you are. Come on. Oh. Uh-huh. All right. Oh, for the Caterium ingot, yeah. So this is fine black powder. This is the stupidly expensive rubber. That's also very stupidly expensive, but probably I could do that. Not that I'm planning to, because really I'm not. Now you stay. And how long have I been sitting down doing logistics garbage? 1 hour. Okay, so I'm going to finish off getting this to maximum efficiency. Privy to the idea that you care, which is not automatically true. And reasonably so. I'm not sitting down and calling you anything like that. I'm not calling you names. I'm just saying, practically speaking, I don't expect it to be the highest priority in the mind of the average individual with reasonable expectations for their content. So, with this last batch, I'm going to remember what I just did and figure out that that was a bad idea. I'm going to assume that everything's connected correctly. That's a dangerous assumption. I guess danger's my middle name. Might not have been the best joke to make now that I'm thinking about it. At this point, it's worth a flipping try. The amount of crap you gotta pull just to think and get anything to cooperate with anything else. Like, this is actually hooked into the integral, like, foundation structure. This is actively speaking built to just be well compacted. And it can't hook into the existing system because the foundries are not built around the existing, like, division system inside of the actual, like, foundations. These kind of look like it, but they're from two different flippin'... Oh, whatever. I mean, even it... Oh, whatever. Not something that's relevant right now. I just need to disassemble something and I'm being mad about it. And there's no reason to stinking sit down, waste time. At this point, getting like hoity-toity. Gosh. I'm so tired of that. Alright. Yeah. Okay. Speaking of which, I didn't take out of the core. Yes, I did not take out of the core. That being like the core splitter, where like everything else splits up. Because if you take out of the core splitter on like the production lines, that means that you're actively speaking lowering the efficiency. It's not the wisest idea. Reattacking, a couple seconds left on that. Don't know. There we go. I will hook that up later and then hook it right back up. Well, that didn't work. Hello, doing. I guess. Well, that's something. I could take some spare copper and iron and produce something out of it. And I can get the coated iron canisters. Seems pretty good. Nah. And I got steel canisters too, in case I get interested in that. Don't really see too much else to think I can do right now. So I'll just scan my last hard drive. Okay, sort that, pop that in there. It'll probably be fine. Right now, I don't think I'm going to be syncing up the lines in the way that I did right then. Because effectively all of this equals one good line. So if I take all of this and mix it with this, I have one 480. Which might be a good idea to just keep from stressing the belts. To just keep separate, but I'm thinking to actively speaking, just keep this to one belt. Keep this and that as one belt. Although at that point, why not just thinking... Yeah. Because if I'm going to separate these out... Why am I going to thinking sit down and... like, waste this time? Seems ridiculous. Or not time, space. A different aspect, but still same concept. Why am I going to waste this space? Obviously, I'm wasting space in my head somewhere because that shouldn't have happened. Now then, if I take this, merger here, go over here. Then go back down here. Down severely. Make sure that the line's connected. The line is connected. Time for the stress test. And thanks to daisy chaining, that is incredibly simple. Again, this is a temporary stress test. This is not a permanent one, but it's just to make sure everything is producing. Given proper ratioage, yellow lights should be a rare occurrence, but evidently something is wired wrong. That's not, that's not, that's not, that's not, that's not, that's not. Am I not using the stressed line, or is the stressed line inverted? It's barely even being consumed. What? That's a Mach 4. That is not a Mach 4. That is why we stress systems. So that should solve some of that problem. Yellow lights will happen sometimes, but if I did my ratios correctly, it shouldn't happen all too often. But I do want to make sure I know which line is the stressed one. Because if the bottom isn't the stress, or if the top is not the stressed line, or the pressurized line, then we're in trouble. This is producing 300. So the core, yep, that's the pressurized line. All I need to do is actually activate this, which apparently I did not feel prevalent to just do. Ooh, nuts. Ooh, that's suspicious. As suspected. Alright. Hello, doggo. Good doggo. Is there power charts around here at all? No. Don't really want to take these out right before I go exploring. But it's what it is. I need to make sure that these things are actually fully, like, set up. Ouch. The line should be sufficiently stressed, but... Ouch. Like, currently it's doing 480, I'm pretty sure. Between the two of them, it's unlikely that they're not. But... although I probably should have sunk those, or deported those. Depotted those. You got your paperwork, power shards? Are you a citizen of this miner? That's got all kinds of context. Woo! Depotted. Depotted? Deported? It might actually be deport. It's a depot. Or it's a depot, but... it is a form of storage. Dimensional depot. Depot. It's a depot. So it would be depotting. Oh, I gotta take this and dump it into the stinking, like, the chest back at home. I'll come back later and check up on whether or not it's fully functional. This way I can get some exploring done. And I got 37 of these things, which is great because I so didn't need more. I also need to fix that wire. Not the hardest thing to do. And while I'm over there, I can check the MAM results. I can also quickly, like, disassemble some of the water infrastructure, because effectively what I'm going to transfer that water infrastructure to is just liquid biofuel, so that I can get the liquid biofuel. Which I'm doubting that I'm going to rely on intensely in casual play. Not because it's not a good form of fuel, it's just that sourcing it would seem to be a hassle. What? I couldn't put in more? I couldn't guess. Yeah, it definitely wants me to try out this diluted fuel packager combo. Like, look at that. You get fuel for fuel and also other fuel. All it'll cost me is undoing my entire infrastructure on turbo fuel and mitigating the actual available better option so that I can go backwards. Isn't backwards fun? I don't think backwards is fun. Speaking of, before I go on an adventure, let's go a little bit forwards. Not too much forwards. I don't have a lot. But I do have a little bit of space where I can get some stuff done. Although I could real quick, I think. This experimental technology is somehow able to extract power from summer sloops by blasting it with energy. Generates power based on the total amount of power. I can do that to increase my power. I don't know how much I want to. I don't really want to not have my summer sloops, because ignore everything else, I'm probably about to use them. So, alien technology, this is upload speed, this is 300% capacity. That's 400%. So, I can do probably 2 of these upgrades without
Dimensional
suffering too
expansion
much.
increased to 300%. New understanding of matter manipulation technology allows the dimensional storage to deconstruct all matter to the subatomic level, storing
That's
its
cool.
elementary particles until the part is recalled.
You are digging into deeper layers. Shallow matter contains wind of symphonies and void songs and deep echoes.
It is fascinating what one can find out simply by looking closer.
That's nice. Sorry, I didn't bring my entire stinking setup. Blah, 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 blah. So I could do this, and that's not gonna horrifically affect me, but I'm not gonna be able to do the last one today. Well, I can physically do it, but it's not a wise
Dimensional
idea.
expansion increased to 400%. Parts can now be stored as elementary particles in a hyperdense deconfined state. Normally, I'd explain the basic science, but I don't think this one can be simplified enough for you to understand.
We composed a growth song, but you composed a shrink song, so we remain silent. The dance of your bones and organs and veins amuses us.
I understand, seeing the pioneer perform tasks also amuses me.
I mean, anatomy is a pretty cool thing. And I'm probably not gonna get too much use by saving this. Okay. Don't know what I was clicking on there. The current? Okay, that's a cheat. That's something they did. If you click left click, it automatically makes your mouse disappear. Which, I mean, that's not that bad, okay? Like, there are worse tricks to get things to go the way you want it to. So we now can have 4 boomboxes, we can have 800 biofuel, we can have 4 object scanners, 2,000 coupons. Obviously, I'll have that in a second. I'm checking. I can have 400 turbo fuel, 400 rebar, 400 steel. I'd say I am probably decently set up to go off on an adventure. I don't think I want to do that right now. Although, if I just go... Well, I could do that. I could just go to the forest, but I think what I want to do... is I just want to go over here. I don't think there is an ability to, like, use Caterium. Or not Caterium. I'm sure there's a way to use Caterium. Or no, I'm not sure I... Blah. Blah. So it's not immersive sphere, it's just stupid. I should really get the slug scanner. No hard drives. Okay, how about I go in here and actually just... There's just nothing down there. Like, am I wrong? Wait, it's fine if I'm wrong. Or I'm right. I got nothing to lose. I don't care about losing, but I'm not gonna... If I just go over here, just check this out. Yep, that's a chasm to death. That is not extensively useful. That's just a pit that I can throw things in. But I don't care about them. What's yelling at me today? Oh, yeah. You know what? Yeah, ask for it. I don't care. Like, I'll take it so I don't have to come back here later. I don't care, though. Oh, Mercer Sphere. That seems like a pretty good way to die. Is it above me or... Oh, it's above me. What's angry at me today? Oh, it's just one I was thinking. I get it. I pissed you off. You know, that is something. I think maybe. Maybe I'm wrong. But I'm pretty sure I'm not. If I follow the beach... Nah, that's stupid because I'm trying to, like... I want to discover this chunk. But down this, like, length, I think there are secrets. But it also could be down this length. There's a whole lot of stuff around here. Right now, though, I want to focus in on that central black splotch. Get that splosh splooshed and splattered. Or, you know, I could just not get to finish off what I started. There's also that. I'm going to do a light bit of exploring. I don't care. Actually, you know what? That's one hard drive that I could just get. It's minorly frustrating, but far from impossible. I just need to get to a power source. Power tower platform, power tower. I don't care how it looks because the whole point is to kind of just get some distance. Would have preferred to, actively speaking, have a little bit better viz on it. You know what? Beggars can't be choosers. At least that... No, that is not what I wanted to actively speaking pick. There we go. There we go. If I ride the edge, I should have some level if I run out of cable specifically. There should be a hard drive near here. I remember there being specifically a hard drive where I had to sit down and go, oh, well, I don't have any power here. It was inside of a wet area. You don't think I overshot it, do you? I remembered it was near the edge. What? You mean something wants me dead? I haven't heard of that. Nice to know. That seems like the location. Well, I do have to be cautious here because, well, if I run out of cable, the adventure is useless. Missing materials. What am I? 20 wire. You've got to be kidding me. Certainly something special. Well, there are multiple degrees of stupid that I'm not even just gonna mention. So we're gonna get a Mercer Sphere real quick. Okay, it's apparently... It's probably right underneath me. Hello? Could it be? I mean, it could be. But I'm gonna be honest here. Don't see that, really. Being as much a stick. Mm-hmm. And so probably should have just depotted the cables. I'm just thinking. Might have made some things a little bit simpler. Could have done some things a little bit better. Although at the opposing end of it, that was supposed to be temporary cable storage, not permanent, so that's its own implication. Opposing end of it, doesn't really matter. Well, whatsoever. Whether it was supposed to be temporary or not, cables very much are useful to have. Also, evidently, I'm not going to be using this as my basic parts production because I have a nearby pure iron node coupling. That's just silly to actively sit down and waste time like that. So, great. We're gonna go ahead and say depot. Fine. should be sufficient. I'm gonna question the modular frame thing. There we go. Go ahead and dump that in. Go ahead and dump that in. And then, I'm gonna go ahead. That should solve that. Oh, wait, am I? I can go back in and try and get that just a little bit further and actively speaking make it work. Also, still have my heat sinks. Okay, this is just the heat sinks instead, and I'm being silly. Don't know how useful these heat sinks are, but whatever. That is perfectly irrelevant. So... Okay. Alright. Now I kind of know what I'm looking for. Yeah. I stopped by because I knew that you had drowned, not that I was struggling and spent an hour. I can freaking out. It's like you don't have gas masks. Fine. Don't know why it's not setting anything off. Oh. Oh. Well, I almost got it. You know how little I cared. Great. That's not what I want to happen. There we go. Where is this stupid hard drive? I could have sworn there was a hard drive where it's like 480. Right there. Last time. Please. Yes. Great. Nope. And I. Oh my goodness. That bump just saved my stinking hide. First off, cannot explain what is trying to kill me today. I'm literally just... This game on hard drive. I'll complete this. Where is my momentum? Oh, where is my momentum? Would like to. I got it. Fine. Anchors. Should be that whole situation handled. I so don't care. It's not even worth sitting down and thinking about. That's just stupid behind me. I don't care about stupid. Okay. Okay. I feel like I slowed that down as best as I could, but evidently, best as I could is not best enough. Mainly because gravity doesn't care about excuses. Alright, let's just space this out just right. But there's not really much utility in keeping these around at the placements that I put them at, because placements are barely, well, even useful for what I built that for. Preferably, that's the last of it. The infrastructure that I actively speaking brought in. So there's 3 hard drives inside of the vicinity of that circle that I have not required. I know that at least one of them is not getting acquired anytime soon, because I physically cannot provide the object that it is requesting. Some of them may be inside of this sector here, because I don't really extensively explore that sector. 11 Mercer spheres. I don't even know how. But either way, I've got 24 Mercer spheres, 1 spare summer sloop, and I'm probably going to use that summer sloop not soon. Like, unless next time I do the breakdown factory, but I don't think I'm going to be doing that. Like, even this one run, I only had 2 things to actively speaking break down. But I should be full on cables instead of my thingamabob. No, I'm still filling up. Don't mind all that much. Gonna put that in there. Gonna clean up my inventory slightly. Okay. Other than that. Okay, that's thinking word, but whatever. Like or dislike as you will. If you subscribe, welcome to Ride. It's no fun. And toodles.